I'd love to come back quickly to what happened with Shake That. So you released Shake That 5 years ago. I think it was a big hit. And I think you were very young at the time. You were 19. And you said that the period afterwards was a bit stressful and difficult to manage. And would you like to share what was difficult and how it impacted you at the time?
At some point, I found myself in the situation that I played shows that I didn't want to play because it got more and more commercial, that I had like nice people around me, but still they were interested in my commercial success.
Yeah.
And not everyone, of course. There were also like people telling me to slow it a bit down. But I don't know. It's so, this machinery is so fast, and at some point you just don't realize what just happened to you.
Yeah.
And then you're already in a situation, you're like, oh my God, what is going on now?
Yeah.
And I make good money, and I bought myself a studio, but I kind of lived the life of like a old man who makes a lot of money traditionally, and not the life of a young boy who just wants to play music.
So do you mean like you lost the innocence or the pleasure of just playing for the sake of creating, or what was the difference between this old man mentality or feeling?
I don't know, like this drive and passion. So when I started to listen to house music when I was 15, I had like a girlfriend, and we went out to all the clubs, and we had like long nights, and I was telling my mom that I'm sleeping at her place, and she was telling her mom, and I was like, we went crazy there. And then I found myself in this scene, and that is seemed to be super nice and inviting, and everyone is like in a good mood, but it's kind of like an illusion, like a bubble, and at some point it bursts. And you're getting into the scene with this idea of you want to contribute to this like unity and acceptance, and everyone can be however the person wants to be. And then you get into the scene, and actually everyone is kind of trying to make as much money as possible, and it's super commercial on every end, and there are like only a few people who are really behind fun and the thing and the creative part, who are really interested in it as well. So many people just do it for the money, and I'm not judging anyway. I did it for the money too. But it's difficult to don't lose yourself in this
in the whole process. And I agree. And talking about that, about success, everyone wants to be successful, but I'm really adamant that everyone, and artists in particular, should really define success for themselves and not buy into like preconceived ideas and maybe a bit outdated ideas of what success is, like making lots of money or becoming famous, because that can be a bit dangerous, because what can happen is that you can reach those milestones and find that you're still unhappy and still unfulfilled on the other side after the first excitement has worn off. I'm curious to know, what is your current definition of success right now for yourself?
I think I wish it to be like the following. It's not always like this, but for me, success is not touring a lot and not having many gigs and not selling many records. For me, success is I think I'm currently in a state of success. I'm like, when I'm talking to you about stuff that maybe can change another person's view, that's success. When I'm going to university, learning about like some communication science or like some journalistic ethic stuff, that's success for me. Like, I think doing stuff that is not so commercially driven is for me at the moment, because that makes me happy, and that's what is success for me.
Yeah,
I think.
That's a great definition. And there's more and more artists, like in the last year or so that are coming forward with the struggles with anxiety, panic attacks, or depression. And I think it's great that artists are finally being more open about what their life is really like, and that this stigma is finally disappearing. What would you say to an artist you see struggling?
I don't know. I think
Because
maybe just give him a hug first.
give him a hug, yeah.
I think that's really important too. And maybe I think what helped me was when I had this panic attack, my girlfriend just said that it's okay. You don't need to stress. And that's, I don't know, sometimes it's super easy, but I think you always, I would maybe tell him to really, it's so difficult, because the problem is when you see someone struggling, he's not in the present moment. Struggling always means you're having fear, and fear is always something in the past, in the future. Mm-hmm. You at the moment, you're probably not fearing anything because you're on a good Skype chat, but in the back head, you could maybe fear, I need to pay this bill, and I need to play this show, and I need to fly there, and then how can I manage this? And all these fears, they're never in the present moment. So what I would suggest, and it's like a difficult thing, and I'm not always able to do anything myself, is to try to calm down in any way, however you want, and to try to focus on the present moment, to ask, like, what problems do I have right now?
Yeah.
Are there any problems right now? What is, like, are you stressed out about the future of your career? What kind of problems do you have now? Do you have any problems in your career right now? If yes, then change them. But if not, if it's all in the future, don't worry about it, because you can't change it anyway. The only thing you can change is the present moment.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
But it's so difficult to grab, like a physical, like a tool. It's really hard to invest a tool for it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Meditating.
Yeah, meditate, going back to the present. And sometimes I feel like some people might hesitate about reaching out for help because they fear that they're going to appear weak, which is actually the opposite. But what would you say to someone like that?
I don't know. The thing is, I really like to help people. I have this thing for me. It's like super nice. Like, I'm super good in helping people, but I'm super bad in letting people help me. And that's the thing. I think everyone kind of, not everyone, but many people have this problem. And the thing is, you always wait until something really bad happens before you are willing to change, and before you are willing to let other people help you. That's the thing. And I think it's good to realize that you don't need to wait until it's so bad that you can't handle it yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's good to realize that you could handle it a bit longer just on your own, but maybe you can do even better if you invite someone in and share your problem or your struggle with them. But it's so easy to say it, and it's such a different thing to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my last two questions. What do you wish you had known about making it in music when you first started out?
So what I wish that I'm happy the way everything went, actually.
Okay.
I'm also happy that I went through this time of this check that time, and I'm actually really happy and thankful for how everything went, because otherwise I would maybe have realized all these things that I'm realizing at these days way later in my life.
Yeah.
And now I had this kind of like crash point earlier, and it's actually fine. I'm happy the way it went. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, exactly. We learn through the challenges, and this is how we grow, through the difficult moments. And I think it's beautiful that you're able to find gratitude for those moments. And lastly, what would you say is the most important thing you've learned over the years of being an artist?
The most important thing as an art that I learned of being an artist, I think the most beautiful thing is that you sometimes have these moments where you're kind of like touching people somehow. Sometimes, for example, I once had a show with like my old project called Tender Games, and then a couple came to us right before we started performing, and they said, "Hey, can you please play this really old song? We met each other while this song was playing," and we were like, "Okay, for sure we're going to play it." And this is like, I think these are the moments that matter. And I think what I've learned is the most important thing that I learned is out of that maybe is I think you need to I think you're making better music when you are honest to yourself and when you love yourself. That's the thing. I think really not doing anything for anyone else is just do it for your own. It sounds super egoistic, but it's the way it is. If I do something for my own, I have so much more energy to give to other people. If I do it the way I want it to do, then I can influence or help or whatever other people way better than when I'm fulfilling their needs in the first place. Yeah.
Absolutely. Remaining authentic and true to yourself. This is actually what we should all be doing, and artists specifically in terms of their music, because they create art. It's just what the universe wants and what the world wants is only for you to be more of yourself and not to be anyone else.
If we don't do it as artists, who else should do it?
Exactly.
That's also the thing. And that's also like one last thing, but that's also what I'm sometimes at the moment thinking about like a lot is if the scene here is already so commercially driven, and that's what we see when we look at Avicii, but that's also what we see when we look at other DJs. It doesn't need to be commercial. It's also in the underground we have the same problems. And if this creative scene is already so commercially driven and more unaware of things, where shall this lead? I think we should. I'm currently thinking a lot about like guidelines, not rules, but just like guidelines and a few questions that we all should have for each other, especially in the house scene and or not in the house scene, in the music scene. And I think it's really important because through music you can connect so easily, and we should all use it. But it's it's kind of like a young child's dream. It's not everyone would say it's super unrealistic and you're like a dreamer or something. But I think that's the only important thing anyway. But maybe a bit cheesy too, but I think that's the way I'm currently trying to approach everything.
That's great. It's very refreshing. So great. So the main takeaways of this conversation is that having balance and a healthy level of self-esteem are crucial in order to stay in the game long term. That you should define what success looks like and feels like to you rather than fulfill other people's expectations. It's a good idea also to remain authentic and true to yourself, especially when you create your art. Anything else you want to add, Marlon?
Don't stress out if you fail. Just keep on going. It's super natural to just fail. It just happens.
Absolutely.
And I'm stressing out about all that stuff myself every day. It's just normal. Just try to rebalance yourself and then,
recenter and accept failure as a completely natural part of the process and a necessary part. In fact, in business schools in Harvard, they celebrate failure. There's whole courses about failure.
Be thankful. And everything that happens shall happen, and then just be thankful for it, and then everything is fine.
Yes, and have gratitude.
Done.
Great. Thanks so much, Marlon, for all your time and your helpful tips. Tell me, what can we expect from you in the coming months?
I will write my exams in July, so July will be a bit more silent. But I'm currently doing. I have like 2 Save the Moment parties coming up in Renate, and actually 5 free events coming up at the Else Club here in Berlin, which are like Save the Moment brunch parties. It's free entry and just music, and people can come around, leave their phones outside, and just have some fun in the sun. Ooh,
Sound fantastic.
and yeah, music. There are like a few releases planned, and yeah, but a lot of studying from the next 2 weeks. Like in 2 weeks, I need to start learning for my exams, and then it will be a bit more silent.
Okay. Well, good luck for your exams.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching. And please share this video if you found it useful. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss other videos like this. Bye.
Bye-bye.